Imagine being a 7-year-old boy, sleeping in a tin-roofed house on a small island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Your family can barely afford food. Your father is slowly drinking himself to death, and the only thing you own is a dream. Most people in that situation give up, but one boy didn't, and that boy became the most decorated footballer in the history of the sport. This is the story of Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's not just about football. It's about what happens when a human being refuses to accept the life the world hands them. Act number 1, the island boy, Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos. Madeira was born on February 5, 1985, in Funchal, Madeira, a small Portuguese island far out in the Atlantic. He was the fourth and youngest child of Maria Dolores and Jose Denis. His father worked as a gardener and a part-time kit man for a local football club. His mother was a cook and a cleaning woman. They were poor. Not struggling poor. Poor. The kind of poor where 4 children share one bedroom. The kind of poor where meals aren't guaranteed. His father, Jose, was an alcoholic. Ronaldo grew up watching the man he loved most slowly destroy himself. And yet, on the streets of Funchal, a small boy was running, kicking a ball, again and again and again. His neighbors called him Little B because he never, ever stopped moving. He wasn't the most talented kid on the street, but he was obsessed. While other kids went home, he stayed. While other kids rested, he trained. That obsession would cost him everything before it gave him the world. Act number 2, the sacrifice. At age 10, Ronaldo was spotted by a local club, Nacional da Madeira. But to truly compete, he had to leave the island. At just 12 years old, Ronaldo boarded a plane to Lisbon, alone, to trial for Sporting CP. 12 years old, no parents, no friends, no comfort. Just a boy from a small island walking into a world-class academy full of kids who were bigger, stronger, and more technically polished than him. The other boys laughed at his thick island accent. They mocked him. They excluded him. He used to cry himself to sleep in the dormitory at night, calling home, begging to come back. His mother told him to stay. She told him, "You have a gift. Don't waste it." So he stayed. And when the other boys slept, Ronaldo trained. After every session, when the coaches had gone home, when his teammates had eaten and rested, Ronaldo was still on the pitch, still shooting, still dribbling, still pushing, not because someone told him to, because he needed to be better than what he was yesterday. Act 3, the heart scare. At 15 years old, Ronaldo was diagnosed with a racing heart condition. A heart condition. For a footballer, that is a death sentence for a career. The doctors told him he needed surgery. Surgery that would put him out of the sport, possibly forever. Most 15-year-olds would have walked away. His family nearly begged him to stop. Ronaldo went under the knife, and 2 weeks after surgery, he was back on the training pitch. 2 weeks, he didn't know if his heart would hold. He didn't know if the risk was worth it. But giving up was never an option his mind could process. Act number 4, the rise. At 16, Ronaldo made his debut for Sporting CP, and he did something extraordinary. In a friendly match against Manchester United, he destroyed them. Sir Alex Ferguson, one of the greatest managers in football history, turned to his assistant after the game and said, "That boy, I need that boy." At 17 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Manchester United. The little boy from Madeira, who cried himself to sleep in a dormitory, was now playing at Old Trafford. But even then, the world wasn't done testing him. The critics said he was selfish, too flashy, too arrogant, more concerned with his hair than the game. And in the 2006 World Cup, his own teammates, back in Portugal, turned the entire country against him after he got Rooney sent off. The Portuguese public booed him. He came back the following season and won the Premier League, the Champions League, the Ballon d'Or. He didn't argue with the critics. He let the trophies speak. Act number 5, the comeback. In 2015, playing for Real Madrid, Ronaldo suffered a knee injury, then another, then another. At 33 years old, the world started writing his obituary. He's finished. He's too old. The Messi era is here. He heard it all. In 2018, he moved to Juve, a club that hadn't won the Champions League in over 2 decades. In his very first season, he scored the most difficult, most athletically demanding goal of his career, a bicycle kick so perfect that even the opposing fans stood up and applauded. at 33, and when the pandemic shut the world down in 2020, while everyone else rested, Ronaldo was photographed training in his garden, alone, in the middle of the night. At 35 years old, still obsessed, still hungry, still the little boy from Madeira who just couldn't stop running. Here's what Cristiano Ronaldo's life teaches us. Talent is not enough. Talent without obsession is just potential that never became anything. He was not born with perfect genetics. He was not born into wealth. He was not the most naturally gifted player in his academy. He chose to be great every single day, before the lights came on, after they went off, when he was hurt, when he was mocked, when the whole country turned its back on him. He kept going. So whatever it is you're facing right now, whatever mountain feels too big, whatever dream feels too far, remember a boy from a tiny island with a sick father, no money, and a broken heart, who refused to accept the story the world wrote for him, and wrote his own. That's not just football. That's a life philosophy. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for someone to believe in you. Start and don't stop. Because the only real failure is the moment you decide the dream isn't worth fighting for anymore. If this story moved you, drop a like. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And subscribe to Shadow Mastery, because we're just getting started.